Welcome back to the shores of Lake Michigan, Traverse City, Michigan, at the beautiful, brand new Traverse City Curling Club. The 2024 USA Curling Mixed Doubles National Championship, 16 teams vying for a spot at the 2024 World Championships in Östersund, Sweden. Back on sheet C once again for our feature matchup. We take a look at the standings for Pool A. Persinger, Casper, Ryman Smith, and TC Dropkin all at 3-0. A mess in the middle with Farrell and Thurston at 1-2, Moore Wheeler 1-2, and Schweitzer Hagberg 1-2. Nickel, and Woodcott at the bottom of the standings at 0-3, looking for their first win of the competition. Again, our feature matchup now, Lance Wheeler and Clare Moores will be taking on Jason Smith and Kim Rhyme. Joining you live for this feature matchup here, Tyler George, along with broadcast partner Nate Perry. Nate, welcome back to the booth. Good to see a familiar face.
Thanks for having me. Keep getting invited back, so must be doing all right. Having a fun time back here behind the glass, watching some curling.
Oh, yeah, you wouldn't get invited back if you weren't doing well, trust me. We'd toss you right under the bus, and then on the next broadcast, we'd say how terrible you were. So,
well, good to know.
So welcome back. We got a good matchup here, too, with Claire and Lance, their first time on the feature, and Smitty and Kim on the opposite side. And we remarked before the matchup, and we'll take a look at these other sheets first. We have Persinger, Casper, TC Dropkin, big matchup over on sheet B, Battle of the Undefeateds. On sheet D, Wood and Cott taking on Farrell and Thurston. And sheet E, Nickel and Nickel facing off against Schweitzer and Hagberg. Of course, our feature matchup again. Moores Wheeler and Rhyme Smith on sheet C. And Claire Moores very wisely this morning, Nate, besides bringing me my breakfast burrito, was the co-commentator right before she played on this sheet. So maybe a method to the madness on that. Get a good read on the sheet before you got to play.
She's good at that, picks her up moments well. And, of course, we talked yesterday and when I broadcast that they did touch up the stones last night, so the conditions did change this morning. So good for her to get a head start on them and see what she'll be working with.
Yeah, we did see, Nate, that the hog-to-hog times, the speed of the ice, weren't much different this morning than what we'd seen for the rest of the competition, and the insider info says that they changed the nip as well because they didn't want too drastic a change after scratching the stones. So now I think they've kind of scaled back on the nip once again. Whichever way they went, they didn't say if they had more of it or less of it. They're going back closer to what they had originally. So it'd be interesting to see if we have a little less speed, if that scratch on the stones has more effect now that the conditions are back to normal, or if we're going to be up to speed already. Because, again, with a mixed doubles game, there aren't that many rocks thrown. So they haven't really been worn in that much as of yet.
And we'll see this being the first 3-game day as opposed to the 4-game day yesterday. A little longer break in between as well.
Back 4, back 8.
Okay. Curl.
It's got to grind. Actually, it's quite good.
Curl. Getting better. Curl. Getting better. Curl.
Heavy.
Nope.
All right. I just didn't go.
Okay.
It didn't go hard, huh?
No, it did not.
I mean, I think.
So the break point.
Okay.
It's a little hot.
We're all there.
Intern draw coming in from Kim Rhyme.
Line's fine. Line's fine. Oh. Whoa.
Rock looks to be gliding just fine.
Whoa.
Comes in right to their own stone on the back of the 4-foot.
Like a 405.
Didn't see any inordinate amount of curl there, Nate. Still looks like it's curling consistent, but nothing drastic.
Lance.
Clare holding broom for this team, just inside edge of the 8. Not too different from what they saw yesterday, I believe.
Waist
Clare
close.
and Lance rocking the alternate
T.
uniforms. I believe I was told this is
T.
the uniforms they use for their 4-person mixed team. Looking good out there on camera.
Still room.
T.
Still room.
Yeah, those kits are really nice.
14-7.
It almost with the
It's good.
club crest
Curl
looks
it,
like
we're
something
gonna
you'd
go.
see in the Briar or the Scotties.
Really nice. Really nice, Lance. Really nice.
Right down to the button. Nice shot by Lance.
That's great.
Pretty good. That came back nice.
Yeah.
Throw a good weight.
Yeah, so I lied. The break point is like it kind of starts there and then it's
Clare and Lance qualified for the national championship event by virtue of their finish in the Colorado Cup. Jason Smith, Kim Rhyme qualifying through the same method, both from the same tournament.
You're like backline space.
Okay, line's fine for it.
Okay,
Fun
backline.
event that Clare and
Close.
Lance actually helped to start a few years back. They've
Yep.
since sort of passed off those duties
Whoa,
to
whoa,
beautiful
curl.
Rock Creek Club, but
Hack.
Curl.
always happy to go to Denver each
Curl.
October for that one.
Jason able to chip that stone off of the rock in the back of the 4-foot. Looks as though Rhyme and Smith are sitting 1.
Just a hair heavy, huh?
I had 12-3.
So Lance Wheeler looking to repeat that last throw, just drawing down to the yellow stone in the back of the 4-foot.
Waist
Line's
good.
good.
And Nate, a situation without hammer that you
Waist
feel
good.
okay with
Straight if
going
you're
all the
gonna
way
go.
down to that stone
there.
as a little more
T.
defensive
Straight
play,
if you're gonna go.
as
T.
opposed to if they had hammer,
Do it.
maybe leaving it just short of it on the top side of the tee line.
Gotta grind.
Curl.
You just gotta grind up. It's good.
It's really nice. Straight. That's good.
That looks awfully similar to the previous shot. Nicely done by Lance
Same
Wheeler.
Yeah,
shot,
well done.
Kim.
To your point, that freeze locking down the scoring area and effectively taking at least one of those yellows out of play, since that red one has to be moved, and if it is, the yellows are likely moving along with it.
You want the same weight?
I don't know. I think a little less.
Just
Huh?
a hair less?
Yeah. I think you're looking for like a 13 versus like 12-4. You know?
Okay.
So looking for maybe a half second less, you heard on the call here. A 13 as opposed to a 12-4. They'd like to get to nose if they can.
Might be a touch less. Yeah.
got
Half.
room.
Line
got
looks
rope.
a hair tighter than the previous throw,
Close.
too.
Touch less. It's about the
Close.
same.
Curl.
Still not curling, though.
Curl.
Well, that ran really straight there. Still moves that stone over. Always
Love the
nice
same
as a
on, Kim.
player, Nate, when you get
Maybe
to
a
say
hair
or
less, not
throw the
enough?
same
Yeah,
shot
maybe a
3
hair
times in a
less.
row.
I got 13.
Lance again playing this in-turn draw.
13.
Yeah, so it was less. Just in.
Yeah, finding that draw weight in double is so important, and most of your shots coming around that center guard into the pile.
Wheeler made the last 2 perfect, looking to do it a 3rd time. In-turn draw.
Maybe a hair more.
Hit. Line's fine.
Weight's good.
Line's really nice.
I need to go. No, weight's good.
Line's really
It's good on
nice.
its own. It's back 4.
Pose for curl.
Back 4.
14. Curl.
It's just getting
Curl.
straighter.
Want to get to nose with this. Curl.
I mean, we just need to let it. We don't want to bounce much.
Okay.
Fine.
That taps their own stone
It's getting
back, but
faster.
a wall of stones. You heard Wheeler saying thinks it's getting faster and straighter
Probably
with
just
each
back,
throw
close,
on
huh?
that
Like
line.
a heavy draw.
Yeah. You want? I'll come sweep it. Huh?
Yeah.
Everything behind the tee line so far, nothing up front controlling the front of that 4-foot.
I mean, really, you just need like what, like
Huh?
back 8, back 12.
Yeah,
if
yeah,
anything.
just a heavy draw.
Yeah.
And I'll just give just inside the edge, huh?
I think so. I think,
Maybe
yeah.
even less than that?
Maybe less.
Okay.
Maybe less.
Jason Smith playing that same path that Wheeler played.
Okay, I think your weight's close.
Lance believed
Maybe
is
like back
straightening
12.
out and speeding up a little.
Close. Yep.
I believe we
Back
heard
12.
Lance
Yep.
mention
Whoa.
it felt a little faster underfoot, and we
Whoa.
found that to be true this morning too. Those hog-to-hog times, as you mentioned, really similar to what they were yesterday, but it did feel faster,
Right.
underfoot and releasing.
Curl.
Okay, good.
Not a bad shot there. And Nate, that could have something to do with the change in the nip too, with maybe the times were close to the same because the rocks have been scratched, but the ice have been altered too, so
Right.
it evens out.
Spot for that.
She gets in the pocket. Could probably slash the yellow, right?
It probably depends where it's at, 'cause it might just go straight in that yellow one.
So do we think it's going to run similar here?
What's that?
Similar to this side for my first draw?
I think so. Yeah.
So
Let me
a
throw.
little less than my first draw?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely. 5 feet less.
Okay.
Should slide similar.
Clare Moores with her team's final shot of this first end.
Normal as.
Trying
Oh,
to
there.
nestle right back to those
Back-
stones,
back four,
likely
back
in
eight.
the
Okay, line's good.
back of the 4 foot.
T.
Close, yep.
A safe shot.
Line's good. Yep. Yep, hard. Line's good, line's good.
Should still be by.
Good.
Good, Claire. Beauty.
That's really nice. That rock's not going anywhere on that side. But there may be an outturned tap on the same
Look at-
line that Claire played for 2.
A little
Try
heavy
to go.
still.
Yeah.
Never any shot for 3 there, Nate, but I think they can move it far enough to get 2.
Absolutely. Nicely done by Claire, but bumping her own back just that little bit opens the door.
Yeah, I had to sweep a little bit for the line to make sure you're by. That's the biggest thing. And ends up moving that back stone because of the sweep.
We never want to be like hanging out and let him have a shot for 3. So you threw it great.
Final stone of the first end. Kim Rhyme, outturn tap for a possible 2.
They can get
Needs to get up a little bit. We've seen this holding line, but now it's turning. It's going to make contact with the red. Don't know if the shooter will stay. Is that enough to get a point? Does look like a single for yellow.
Yeah, just enough it looks like.
It is pretty close.
We're going to swing it
Claire,
already?
take a look.
All right, well, I think this might be an easy call again, Nate. I'm taking yellow and agreeing with Smitty.
How many you got now? You got to 3 for 3 yesterday.
3 for 3, that's all I've had.
Okay.
I can't tell.
Yeah, it looks yellow to me.
That's what I'm seeing.
Do I think we are? I have no idea. I'm not sure. I don't know. Yeah, I think. Give myself. I just have to give myself.
Okay. Swing it.
Lance thinks the pin might be
Measure for
off a
1.
little bit. So the pinhole where the measurement stick will go, Lance thinks is maybe a little off the center, which
Lance-
looking from the top, he might be right.
Lance, ever the scientist. This doesn't surprise me one bit. He wants to swing it.
He's making me doubt myself just a little bit because it's him, but I'm sticking with yellow.
Good throw, though. Mine was real close. Just tick heavy. Yeah. Where'd you give yourself room?
I tried to be middle-ish. I was
Okay.
probably a little outside middle.
Okay.
So this is just for a single point for either team. Excellent close-up view here by the booth for us.
It is
That
yellow.
is yellow. 4-0 this week for the good guys in the booth. So with that single point,
Good start on the board.
Rhyme and Smith lead 1-0 after
We got
one.
the hammer. Yeah, we got one with the hammer.
We got rid of it.
Yeah.
Twin Cities Orthopedics is ready to go with more doctors, specialty services, and convenient urgent care locations. Ready, set, TCO.
5 seconds. Yeah, hang on.
A single in the first for Ryman Smith. The early 1-0 advantage over Wheeler and Moores. Good force for Lance and Clare. They will take hammer now in the second end of action.
Okay, I like
Rhyme playing the out turn.
We're a little full right now.
Okay.
Lots of discussion from both teams about the speed during that break, getting used to the new surface and conditions with the rocks. And
Mine's good.
The glide doesn't look much different, and a lot of times when you have rocks scratched, and what we're referring to is papering the bottom of the stones so that it's a little more coarse and you get more curl. That does tend to slow them down a bit, and you see it more on the finish than anything else. It still seems like they're gliding pretty well.
I think it was just like,
yeah, still really good sweeping ice. You can hold rocks, you can carry them, put them where you want as long as they're thrown well.
weight's good. T.
Mine's good. Close.
T-line.
Straight. Yep.
Speed has not been an issue this week. We've seen hog-to-hog times in the low 15s.
Yep. Hard.
And
Hard.
that's a
Gotta go
very
line.
quick
Gotta
sheet
go
of
line,
ice. An average speed for a national championship, you're probably seeing in the mid to upper 14s.
Good. Really good.
For your club games, it's probably closer to the mid 13s to 14.
Is that behind the tee?
What?
Is that behind the tee line?
Nice shot by Clare, moving that rock
on
back
the
and
tee
sitting
line.
on the button.
Okay. You're right. Right on top.
Go ahead and see what Jason ends up with here for these hog-to-hog times we're talking about.
Okay, I think your weight's there. I think you're tapping a bit.
Okay. You got room.
You're like back 8. Back 8.
You got room.
Same in-turn side
Lot
now
of
for
room.
Jason. Thinks he's still got a lot of room.
A lot of room.
Seeing
Just do it.
14-7 there on the clock. Kim calling a little heavy, but looking like it's coming in nice.
Good.
A pretty good shot.
Good. Good weight.
So we've seen nothing but draws and bumps so far to the 4-foot area. Usually that's a sign that teams are making shots, not missing.
A little heavy.
Whoa.
Back 4. No, weight's good.
And one thing we're noticing so far too, Nate, is that this side of the sheet that they're playing right now
Clean. Clean.
has tended to have a little more curl and a little bit slower than the opposite side. They look pretty even up right now. Haven't really seen more finish on one side than the other.
14-2.
What was
A
it?
great shot there from Lance. Great position.
Really good angles for those reds.
Try to get as close to nose as we can.
Knock on wood, Smitty's microphone seems to be cooperating with him a little more so far this game than last time around. See if we can't keep that way.
Where's the broom for
And we
this?
did have an issue there with it falling off while he was sweeping in our other feature game that they played. Did not land on the stone, thankfully, because as unfortunate as that would be, it would be a burned stone. If anything falls off of a player and touches a thrown rock,
Okay. Mine's good.
you have to remove it from play.
Every once in a while you'll see one of those stopwatch
Mine's good.
clips or even a broom cap come off unexpectedly.
Got a
Good
curl. Got a
to be
curl.
mindful.
Mine's getting good. Curl, go!
Just want this to settle and not bounce off. Pretty good spot, but maybe a little space. I agree with Lance. That's the spot you want to get to right now.
It gets really dangerous really fast for yellow here if Lance can get inside it.
Yeah, I think you do want to move it and get it behind your own. If it just rolls a touch in, then that top red plays into a jam on this shooter that's coming up with where they're going to bump this yellow too. I'm sure that's really clear and easy to see for explaining it without a telestrator. Simply put, just trying to play back house weight, get a little bit inside on this yellow stone and bump it back a little bit.
T.
Mine's good.
T. Back 4. Back 4.
Not yet. Let it work.
Back 4.
Curl. 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 Curl.
Trying to
Hard
get
curl.
this to
Hard
cross.
Curl. Hard curl. That's good.
Not too bad.
It's good.
14-5.
Doesn't quite get to
Got it
the
both
inside, but does end up in a very good spot.
Red controlling the entire
Another
front
more
above
weight
that
would
tee
be
line.
Yeah.
Now, this is the name of the game with mixed doubles, controlling the top of the forefoot, taking that position for yourself, not allowing your opponent to have it. And there's really not much way in right now
I should have just been not nice.
for
maybe.
Ryman
Should've been going
Smith.
for weight.
Okay.
And again, with mixed doubles, not much time to improve the position. And you think about it in terms of when you're making freezes and positioning well, that usually means it's going to take your opponent multiple shots to move those so that they can either score or avoid giving up a big end. And with only 5 rocks thrown per end,
I think you're close.
that's 40% of your shots if it's
Mine's
even
pretty
2
good.
to move it right there.
It does get tricky. You have
Back
to be
curl.
really careful with some of those setup shots. You
Leave
can
it
set
short,
something
leave it
up great,
short.
but not have time to use it.
No, it's there.
Like that math too. I got that, 40%.
Little short.
Mine's getting
What
good.
we're here for.
That's really
Whoa,
good.
whoa, whoa, whoa.
Oh yeah, we're short. Sorry.
Look
That
at that
one's-
turnover.
Sorry.
That's as much as we've seen a rock curl all week there.
Kind of shot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think so.
Like back 8 this
Like a hair
time,
more
though.
weight, a little less broom. Yeah,
Do you like this with back 8?
I do.
So a dangerous situation now for Ryman Smith with Lance Wheeler playing the same shot he just played, out-turn tap, trying to move that yellow stone to the back of the forefoot. And you want to make as many count as you can now, Nate, because there's only 1 shot left for your opponent.
Put the pressure on.
If this was 1 shot earlier, maybe you're more worried about position. Now you want to sit as many as you possibly can right now. That's why you're
Right
seeing
12.
Lance playing a little bit more weight,
Maybe
looks
hair
like,
up,
on
back
this
12.
shot.
Back 12.
Let it
I
work.
believe Madewell, he'll sit at least 2 here.
Back 12.
Curl.
It looked like maybe a
Hard
little
curl.
outward momentum on
Hard
that throw,
curl.
too.
Hard curl.
This is why you're not seeing as much curl.
Gotta get there. Whoa. Okay.
Not the worst.
No, it's not the worst.
Just overthrew it.
A very traditional
yeah, I
of
got a 36
Sean Olsen
on.
ice. It does have to be well thrown. It punishes
Yeah, overthrew
any
it.
upwards or outwards motion. It punishes inwards motion. It does have to be thrown well and thrown true to end up where you want it.
Sorry, I was thinking in my head too. That was heavy is better than light.
Did set
just
up
'cause
some
you
good
can do
angles
that.
though, so still plenty of options.
I mean, it's not the best thing to have in your head. Pretty sure we're 2.
They're probably guarding this, or are they trying to make a play on it?
Yeah, I was saying we could just straight guard if you wanted to.
Right. What are we guarding?
Just that whole right side. I mean,
Yeah.
all they have is that tap again, right?
Right. So
Can they make that in turn draw and get inside of that yellow one?
I know. I just worry I worry that they can hit that outside yellows. Those outside yellows.
Let's just jam it in the back one. They can't see all of it, right? So
Just a straight.
yeah,
guard.
just go straight guard.
So electing to just guard, they didn't really feel like they could help themselves coming in. It's probably true. They're trying to figure out if the in-turn bump is there for Moores on her last to play red and move that yellow out for 3.
Little now.
Does look like it to me. So interesting
Mine's
call to
okay.
take away this half of the sheet.
Oh,
And this is
overcurling.
curling too. And we've said this men's game, women's game, mixed doubles game, although they will get the click off here. So you see when you're throwing guards wide of the center line so it never gets to it, that they over curl on the miss probably 90% of the time. Teams not realizing you can take as much broom as you want and always finish it, but if it's over curling, you're gone.
Hit this.
And Sean Olesen and Dave
I
Staviteg
kinda
ice,
think it's
guards curl every
guess
bit
you-
as
you
much
probably
as
still
draws
have
into the
half
house
and
too.
half.
Okay, so
I
next
find
little
it can be
draw.
easier. It's
Alright,
tough
wide
on
of the draw,
doubles
you're
with that
trying to get
center
side
guard
bump.
already up there, but to throw
So that's
the other turn almost as if you're throwing a corner guard or just off corner guard, crossing center rather than way out wide on a line you may not know as well.
So they do have that tap, the rock in the top of the forefoot for a possible 3.
We're playing just draw pad, or just draw weight, right?
Just draw weight. If you're a little heavy, we can carve it. If you get inside that yellow, we can roll in too.
Well, they are trying to just play around the pile apparently then, so draw to the side of the forefoot.
So edge 8 here.
Yep.
We're really going to need to get that to walk in to get to the enough of the button.
Right.
A little surprised they're not giving the tap an attempt here, Nate.
Yeah, well, when we heard Lance mention he believed they were
12.
second shot, but it is
Back
very
8.
close.
Back 8.
Let it
Might have
work.
been worth the tap just to
Back
move
8.
the yellow to
Let it
ensure your
work.
2.
Close. Curl.
This will
Clean,
curl
clean.
once Lance gets it going.
Straight.
That's going to be close to the top rock.
Straight.
Now that was the worry there. And again, I mean, they got by that top one really easily,
That's what I'm
so
Yeah.
definitely surprised they
Made
didn't
the
try to
tap
play
on
that
accident.
tap. Yeah. But it is a 2 for Moores and Wheeler to take the lead. 2-1 after 2 ends of play.
2 red.
And after this second end,
Set.
let's talk to you about Steve's Curling Supplies. America's #1 curling equipment supplier for over 50 years. Proud to support USA Curling. No matter your skill level or budget, they have all of the top products from the most popular brands in the sport. Right now, you can save $10 on any purchase of $100 or more when you use the code USACurling10 at checkout. Visit them at stevescurling.com for all your curling needs.
Yeah, just keep after it. I think it's getting. I think just be patient on the lines because I think it's getting straighter.
Okay.
I could be wrong because they scratched them, but a couple of those ones like Smitty's, when he kept throwing that side, it looked like they were getting straighter. We got to roll. What turn you like?
Entered.
Yes, Lance, this is the beginning of the third end, so time to get out there.
Yep.
2-1 lead for Moores and Wheeler over Ryman Smith. And Nate, we heard during the break with the discussion between
Really soft.
Weight's pretty good.
Lance and Clare and Coach Quentin Way.
Good.
That tap was there. We definitely could have made that. So validation in the booth is always a good thing. We have to call attention to that when we know we're
See,
right.
back 4. Back 4. It's got to just dig. It's getting
Curl.
good.
Curl.
It's getting really good.
Overhearing some of the conversation between Kim Jason and Coach
Really good.
Bill Rhyme as well. I believe
Beauty.
Kim is swapping out one of her rocks, or maybe it was one of Jason's, but under 8 apart doubles doesn't get talked about too much. Is only throwing 5 rocks, 2 were placed, leaves 1 left over. It's an alternate. You can swap it in and out any time, and it sounds like Team Smith Rhyme didn't like one of theirs, so they're going to swatch it out here early and see how the other one runs.
I'd be willing to bet it's that one that over curled underneath on that guard that we said we hadn't seen a rock curl like that yet.
We're on the guard. We're on
In
the guard.
doubles, it's always better to make that call earlier than later with only so many throws and just the 2 sets of eyes. You never know quite for sure if it is the rock, but better to not have that in your head while you're sitting in the hack getting ready to throw.
That one more than a little tight from Kim. She's having a little laugh at her own expense.
It's a unique strategy. We'll fool them by drawing under the corner.
I don't know what I did.
See, this is what we lost the previous game with Smitty's mic falling off.
Line's all right.
Talked about it yesterday. Always lighthearted
Top 8.
and having good fun out there for the both of them.
Top 4.
Lot of room.
Yep, we're going to get them in the mind now. They got no idea what's coming. And it is in the house, so at least there's that.
Always got to curl.
15.
But a good opportunity now for
Curl.
Moores and Wheeler.
Curl.
Draw underneath once again and get Smith and Rhyme
I could have got that
chasing.
further. So that was always curl, right?
It
See a good crowd gathering there this afternoon behind
Trying
the
to hit it
glass.
across.
Yeah.
That's the in, right?
What?
Intern?
Yeah. I think so.
Smitty playing the run back on this center guard now. Thinking it's better just to open things up, if anything.
Good.
That's a pretty good result there from Jason.
And there is the corner guard he talked about
Yeah,
on games
the
first.
shooter rolls over to partially cover the rock in the house, so that's a very good result.
Maybe it was planned.
Yeah, maybe the laugh was fake. This was the plan all along.
You never know with Bill Rhyme there on the bench telling him.
Crafty. No, trust me. Pretend like you're 3 feet
Two.
narrow.
Mine's fine.
Never see it coming.
We're going to make the run and roll the shooter over for a corner.
Room. Room.
Heard
curl.
3 the call here from Lance Wheeler, which would mean a
Curl
tight
if you're
guard.
gonna go. Yep. 16. Yep. Go, go, go. Curl. 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 Curl.
We're there.
Good. Really good.
Okay, good shot there. Important thing was, and you heard the call from Clare,
That was 16.
to make sure that they took away the side of the rock where they could hit and roll under the
play
corner
this way?
guard. So if anything, you cross it, but just make sure you don't leave that shot.
You like the same?
Smitty lining up for
I
the
mean, I
run
can
back
play it
again.
tight if we want with like back line or just through. You like
That's
that?
true.
Let's run it.
No. Well, I think peel it. Yeah.
Either one.
So same shot from Smitty. Threw it good on the last one. Might as well throw it again. Looked like that came out of his hand a little on the positive side, trying to get up. Yeah, just a touch of a flare. So we'll replace on the guard now. And the good thing for Moores and Wheeler is as long as you're just guarding against a 2, there's not a lot of danger here. You'd probably see them throw another counter in or hit something if there were more yellows in the house. But as long as they can keep making Rhyme and Smith waste stones, again with only 2 left in this end for them, you're not facing a big end guarding your rock.
The 1s and 2s are manageable in doubles. It's
3.
when you get to the 3s and 4s and even higher than that gets
3.
tough to handle.
Yeah, we said on the morning draw that
A little tighter.
Running a bit.
2 is like a 1 in mixed
Mine's
doubles.
really nice. Curl if you're gonna go. 15-7. Easy on it. Curl.
This one might be
Curl,
on the
curl.
paint.
Little bit.
It's good.
That's good.
To your point earlier,
Stuff the ring,
15-7
can't
without much
sit in the
sweeping
ring.
in the rings. It is plenty quick
Yeah.
out there.
Yes.
Can we play a hit and roll into the house and
Okay.
make a double?
Sure.
And I don't see much difference either
What do you like?
from
Like-
one side of the sheet to the other. That was the
Let's
side
play the
we've been
hit and roll
seeing
under, huh?
a little slower
Yeah.
and curling a little more before the scratch.
Less. 11.
11.
Okay.
So just a hit and try to roll onto the paint into the house for Jason. Smart play here. Put the pressure on against a 3 if they can make this and roll in. Only thing you don't want to do is leave the shooter there if you're not going to move that back stone.
Whoa.
This needs to get up to stay in the house.
Okay.
Ends up jamming on their own, which buries it a little bit more.
Fine.
Don't know that it's going to change
More buried,
Lance and
yeah.
Clare's decision.
No harm and did clear out that front.
This is more like a little traditional curling end. Just replace, peel, and
Same guard.
gonna have to
On
make
to the
something
next.
good.
Guard. Mine
With
have
only
been
22 minutes of
holding,
thinking
holding,
time,
and
it
finishing pretty good.
can be nice for these teams to
careful on
bank some
finishing.
time in a simple end like this.
All right.
You might see an angle run in on the final shot, too, depending on what they think the draw looks like.
Right, if this is well made, the run for
Up
2 is
12.
certainly more valuable than a tough tap for
Mine are
1.
fine.
It's weight only, or line only.
Mine's fine.
One more center
3-4.
guard being thrown by
4.
Moores and Wheeler.
4.
Okay.
Heard
Mine's
4. You
fine.
don't want this full in the 12-foot. That'll leave just a double for 2.
Close for curl.
This is
Gotta
at
grind.
least that.
Just got to stop.
Curl. I don't know.
Now you might want to finish it to see if you can tuck a piece, but
So tough to make that call in doubles without the extra teammates to help, but that's one they certainly could have curled and maybe partway buried under those corners.
Okay.
So it's just a hair off nose on the inside, the low side, for 2. You hit it with enough weight on the nose, they both go, but to make sure, you may want to just be a little on the low side. I think they're playing the in, so it would be the low side.
I believe that's what she pointed at.
All right, throw a good one.
Okay.
Final stone of the third end. Kim Ryan with a double for 2.
Whoa, yep, whoa,
Very close.
whoa, yep, hard, 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 hard.
Looks good. Great shot by
Great
Kim.
shot.
Perfectly done. Great throw, and that is 2.
2.
Take the lead for Ryman Smith. 3-2 after 3 ends of play.
Jesus.
Oh, look at you. Double
Better than my
queen.
first.
Never a doubt, Bill.
Between ends here after the third, let's tell you about Warm Room Hero. More than just software, they're curlers dedicated to building long-term relationships with your club. Warm Room Hero provides continuous support to ensure your website exceeds your members' expectations. Check out Warm Room Hero today at curling.club. That's Warm Room Hero at curling.club. Looking around at the other sheets for this 2 p.m. draw, TC and Dropkin continuing to roll with a 4-0 lead on Persinger and Casper. On sheet D, Farrell and Thurston 3-1 over Woodcott. And on sheet E, Schweitzer and Hagberg out to a 3-0 start against Nickel and Nickel. (3-2) here on our feature sheet. Nice double by Kim Rime on the final shot to score that 2. Slight miscue, Nate, from Clare Moores on that last one. That coming full into the house is what allowed them to play that straight double for 2. and Smitty, technically, we heard between ends. That stone that Kim threw that crossed the center guard and went in, that stone itself didn't score, but it was the reason that they scored a second point, because that hit and roll in that Smitty attempted was stopped by that rock. So, yeah, you could say that rock was the reason they scored 2 points.
Certainly untraditional. That's why they're still joking about it, but whatever works. You'll take them how you can get them. This stacking up much more traditionally so far. A couple good freezes by each team.
Yeah, we're back to mixed doubles curling once again. Piling rocks up in the 4-foot circle.
Kind of tight. You can go. Yep.
Line only,
Yep.
line only.
Definitely
Whoa,
tight
oh
and
my
light
God.
here. Oh, you got to get it to cross the center.
Yep.
That is the same side, away from that walkway that Kim did that across the guard.
Yeah, so maybe we are seeing a little more curl
think
coming
that
off of
rock-
that side now.
It's going to be under the yellow guard.
Smitty talked about the rock again. Who knows if it's the one
Under
they
the
already
guard.
traded out or.
that would be a better way to do it than during the end.
Especially when it's placed in play.
Just call the technical timeout and pull that rock out and replace it with another one.
That's good.
Lance Wheeler,
Top 8.
in-turn draw on that same side of the sheet.
Top 8.
I did think Smitty's release was a little soft on that anyways, probably not as severe as where the rock ended up.
Five's good.
Just top 12.
Straight. Straight.
We're just going to take the run away.
Jeez.
I don't know what happened there.
Curl, curl, curl.
Let's get wide.
That ran slower in the same spot as well. Wonder
way
if
down
there's
or what?
maybe a spot out there somewhere.
Yeah, both teams getting fooled now. You don't really often see late onset effect
And
from
we can guard too.
scratching stones.
Yeah.
Right? Give them one, let them throw runs at it. Maybe they'll
Yeah.
open something up for us.
Yeah. Guard
like
their
that?
red.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
guard the red.
Okay, I like it.
It's like a 45 for a high guard.
Yeah, probably.
Interesting strategy developing here. Smitty throwing the high guard, saying they're just fine, giving up that single to Moores Wheeler, and guarding here. Moores Wheeler may be happy to
Mine's good,
oblige,
just
not
over,
wanting
just get it
to
over.
run a rock in and
Easy.
hit their own off the button.
And your initial reaction to that call is, wow, it's going to be hard to maintain
line
that
it
for
up.
an entire
Yep,
end.
straight.
But then you remember there's only
Whoa,
3
we're
more
good.
shots to
You're
throw
good.
in the end. And it's going to take 2,
Okay.
like we talked about before, to move those to a point where you could score a second point. Really, the only way to clear that yellow is
That's right, yeah, yeah.
slashing that
I mean, I think we
the
can
yellow
try to
guard in.
Try to kill these two and spin up like that or something.
Okay. So this one first.
Hit that pretty thin, yeah. Almost crotch. I'm trying to hit that one first, spin up. Like that?
Yep.
Could get all 4 of these guards moving with where they're hitting it.
Be tough not to move more than 1 stone with how they're situated. But yeah, all 4 could be moving after this shot. Probably see a little heat from Lance here. Just looking to pocket these yellows. We'll see where they go. And they do
Does
all
get
move.
all 4. And pushes his own
Oh,
into
and
the
the
rings.
bonus. Leaves a corner.
That's good, Lance.
Gets one in the house. Clears all the other guards. That's a 5 out of 4.
We're looking
Oh,
at
that or just free
4-person
punt.
curling strategy with these 4 out there.
I like this. We can just do this every end.
Yellows. Yeah.
Or top 12 is okay. Just
Yeah.
freeze or just short of it. Corner of the red one.
Okay.
What a great result there. My goodness.
Had to ask confirmation from the coaches whether that one in the rings bounced off the wall or not.
Oh, we can confirm on that one. That rock is in.
Yep. Oh, no, line's good. Line's good. Right to it. Line's good. Curl, curl here.
So now forced to come in, trying to corner freeze to
Do it.
that red stone.
Okay.
A little bit of a tap, but not a bad spot. Yeah, I think that's better. Hitting the top yellow stone and trying to roll to an angle in front of the other one.
And to make the roll, you probably unlock the back yellow
That's
as well.
the idea, yeah.
Thick. Thick, so like, yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Just
like
the
that a
fob in
lot.
front of the 2 and loosen everything up in the
Do
back.
you like coming out turn?
Yes.
That's
weight?
very well thought out by
Control.
Lance.
Maybe a 10.
Okay. Thin is better
Good communication
than
there,
too
making
thick,
sure
right?
they're on the same page.
Yeah, you really want to miss your own red that's on the button.
Yes.
Unlock the
Red.
back if you can, and if the shooter rolls to right in front of your other red, so it's double angled on that yellow stone, there's not a whole lot of space for
Right.
Ryman Smith to throw anything that helps.
And I think to Claire's point, thinking through this shot, is a little thinner and rolling under that corner would be better than pushing your own red off the button
Right.
if you did overcurl.
Thin would be where you want tolerance on this for
Up.
sure.
9-5.
Roll.
9-5.
Curl.
You got to make contact with it first.
Curl. 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 Hard curl. Hard curl.
Ah, all right.
It's fine.
not terrible.
They'll like to keep that shooter around, but
I overthrew it.
still advantageous for red.
And didn't unlock the back either.
Just right on top of the red one.
Can I be short?
You almost could have just hammered a sweep right from the start there and gone tick-tick. Maybe got both yellows out.
If you want to be sure, you want to guard the red one.
Right. I think some hesitation there at the center line, or maybe how he threw it. He did call that he threw it up weight right out of hand.
I know that top one is, isn't it?
LOL. I think they are. Yeah, they are, yeah.
Yeah, if you can be the nose of that red, either short of that or on top of it's real good.
Okay.
Okay?
Am I edge then? Touch inside.
Touch inside edge.
Touch inside edge.
Yep.
Okay.
You can see Kim and Jason's clock above Kim's head here, well ahead of time here. Their last shot of the fourth.
Yeah, really good pace.
Okay, we're all there.
Good communication.
Mine's fine. Oh, then stay off it. Whoa. Whoa.
In-turn draw for
Mine's
Kim
okay.
Rhyme.
Whoa. It's got a curl. Whoa.
Weight's good.
It's got a curl. If you want nose. Whoa, straight. Straight.
You don't want to cross it.
Not curl. Don't curl. Jesus.
Kim poking fun at herself again, but that was the tolerance from what they talked about prior to that shot.
I should have just had you curl.
And nose with,
Huh?
I think you got to throw peel to make sure that rock spills.
Yeah.
You might be able to make it with firm, but it's going to kick off of that back red too.
Always tricky to be running in the other team's color as well. Got to be a little careful not to
Yeah,
stuff it in there.
There is a possibility of giving up a steal
She's killing
playing
the
this
back
shot
ball.
while you're already sitting
If she
one.
makes it.
Hey, if you're comfortable throwing 9-5, that's better.
Yeah, 9-5.
Almost is just a
Those are
clean
perfect.
draw.
I was just thinking
right
that,
next to it,
especially a
too.
couple ends ago. That's typically what they tend to defer to with Clare's last is the draw if it's available.
Yeah.
I think
yeah.
this is a better
That's good.
shot,
That
though.
sounds pretty good.
It's almost no margin for error with the draw. Final stone of the first half of this matchup. Clare Moore's playing the run essentially double.
Yep. Hard. Whoa, whoa,
It's backing out a little bit.
whoa, girl.
Good try.
Well, does miss their stone at least on that side, so they maintain the single point. Heading into the break now. 3-3 all tied up.
Good try, Claire.
And halfway through, it's time for the Broomfitters break. Broomfitters.com is the place for good curling gear and fast shipping on everything curling. For a limited time, take 10% off your first order with the code USA. Visit broomfitters.com. Fifth end of action in our feature matchup on Sheet C here at the 2024 USA Curling Mixed Doubles National Championship. Tyler George coming to you live with my partner here, Nate Perry. Nate, always good to remember coming out of the break. It's a little faster. John Landsteiner. Got to keep an eye on that. But a good adjustment looks like is made by Clare Moores. No issue with being deep on that one.
Not ideal spot, but that's always the tolerance on that first rock. Very usable.
Kim Rhyme now, her first of the second half. Solidly played game by both teams. Some traditional curling ends and some mixed doubles ends.
Oh, sorry. Stay close.
We're all there, all there.
Oh, curling a little. Oh. Whoa.
Weight all there on this one.
Little tick. No, little tick.
It's a good spot.
Just
Nice.
a little faster after the break, you know.
Aren't you nice?
Good.
It's not a great spot, but it's okay.
I curled enough where it was.
What'd you get?
I had a 416.
.416, Smitty referring to that split time out of the hack to help judge as a sweeper. That is what he's been asking of Kim. I've heard him say 15 to 20 a few times, and threw what was asked and just a little fast.
Line's really nice, Street.
Wheeler leaning on this one, trying to hold the
Line's really
line.
nice, running a bit.
Weight's all there
14-7.
right now.
Whoa.
Yeah, I overswept it. Gotta grind.
Curl.
That's trying to turn over.
Sit.
Okay.
Yeah, just a little bruise on the sweep
Sorry.
from Lance. But at least he's got nobody to blame but himself.
He admitted it.
Just get
He
to
is
the
one of the more
inside,
effective
right?
sweepers
Yeah,
out there as well. Really gets over the top of it.
Is it behind the
they're
tee?
They're just on button, so if you freeze to it, they're still shot.
Okay, so a
Which,
little,
you know, it's
little
fine.
tiny tap.
Yeah,
To
like-
it, a little tap.
This is like literally back forward.
Yeah. I think I'd rather be inside of it on the nose
Yeah.
than
Okay.
inside edge.
Yeah.
Good opportunity for Ryman Smith.
Okay,
Playing a
I
little
think
bit of
you're
a
right.
tap.
I think you're there.
Just
Line's
want to
good.
move this rock back to the back
Line's
4,
good.
back
I
8.
think you're there. Tapping.
Okay,
Line only.
okay. Let it
Back
finish
eight.
in there.
Should
Back
finish
8.
up nice
Back
on this
12.
line.
Okay, let it curl in there.
There it goes.
Okay, good.
Yeah, pretty good shot by Smitty.
Impressed with the pace of these two teams, even coming out of the break, knowing they're ahead with time. They're still
14.
moving along at a good clip.
What'd you get for a split?
Yeah, sometimes when you have a good rhythm going,
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
even if it's a little bit of a
Feeling
quick
good.
pace,
That rock's
just
good.
keep moving. As long as it's not real complicated with what you need to call, you have a good feel for the ice. Both teams seem to be in the same boat with that right now. Lance Wheeler, same in-turn draw, trying to get to nose or inside of the rock that Jason just threw. This will curl plenty at the end. Little up on the weight though.
Okay.
Lance really got that one to move late.
14-5.
So even though
Good.
Ryman Smith are sitting
Curl a
2,
bit.
good position for Moores and Wheeler.
Once
We're
again,
winning too,
controlling the
but-
top of that tee line.
Do I ever throw that hit now, the red?
Yeah.
Try to sit there with like an 11?
Okay. I mean,
Or you want me to throw it harder and get it on both out?
okay. Don't throw it red.
Smitty going for the wrong color rock halfway
What?
through the game.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you can get to like, here.
Does peeling the guard help?
I think I'd rather try this and you play it tight.
Okay, I like it.
Okay.
Peel isn't a bad shot either. 'Cause that definitely
I
would
think I
open
need
up
less. I
that
think
double
this is gonna
for him
run.
too.
Okay.
So,
If they do make the double now with that guard still there, if the freeze is made, again, we're back in that situation where it's
Yeah,
probably
that's
going to
good.
take
So,
2
like
shots to
10,
have any
10,
chance
5?
of scoring
Yeah,
more
yeah.
than 1.
And maybe even one if that freeze covers the pin.
Yeah, I think I like the peel. I think that call probably would have given him a better chance at scoring more than one.
Heavy.
And I think there's a better chance of giving up a steal by leaving that center guard there.
Okay, good.
Not bad.
That's fine. That's good. It's better.
Yeah, now if you can lock one in, it's going to be
This way.
really difficult
Yeah, I
for
know,
Ryman
easier.
Smith.
Okay.
I right to the backing.
The draw or the tap if they'd prefer. Looks like they're opting for the draw.
A little more
Either
than
side
draw.
open for this draw.
Yellow is sitting too, though, so Moores Wheeler do need a well-made shot here at some point. Track the speed here to start the second half.
Outturn come around from Wheeler. This is the side that we've seen a little inconsistent with the curl and the speed.
Curl.
T.
Curl.
Just a shade wider than the true draw path as well
Looking
for the
good.
pocket they're shooting for.
Looking good.
It is turning. Line looks really close.
Curl. Clean. Straight. 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 Straight.
That's really good by Wheeler. Just got to get there.
Well done.
Ooh,
man.
just a
Plenty
hair
quick.
short.
I think it's second.
14-9, I think I heard Clare say,
I've seen
too.
it go
So
earlier.
clock in the booth working well.
Fuck.
It's fine.
I mean, we could run this.
Lance is
I
now
know. It's just,
tied for second in the
yeah,
swear
you just
jar
gotta hit
after
this one.
Yeah.
Just hit it across,
the last end even.
right? I mean,
They
even
tend
if I
to come
stuff
in
it on the
bunches
nose
when
a little
things
bit, I
aren't
just gotta
going.
make sure I
But the
can't
thing
hit
is,
it this
well,
way.
even
Should
if
I
you do
ask who's in
this,
first?
then
Yeah,
they're just
even if I just
freezing.
straight peel
Yeah,
it,
you can ask.
it's okay.
Who's that?
That's one of the
Then
burrs.
they're just tapping.
I'm not going to tell you which
You know
one.
what I mean? So like you do
You could
this,
probably
they've got
guess.
a straight
Probably put it
freeze.
together.
What?
If you do this, they've got a straight freeze, and then I just, you know, if it's in the right place, it's going to be hard to get out.
What do you like then? What are you seeing?
Here?
Okay, I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Okay, come sweep for me.
I don't know. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, they've got.
My thought was if I get rid of all three of them and they try to throw a freeze there, we might be able to blast it. and
I
get
know,
a block
yeah,
of that. So that was
yeah.
my initial thought.
I know.
But
Yeah,
we
yeah.
can play this freeze too if you like.
And that's
No,
why
I mean,
peeling the
I
guard
agree.
earlier is the key.
Yeah, I'm
Because even
fine.
if I straight peel,
Because
they
that
still
gives
have
you a
little
chance to
flash.
be able to clear those
So, I'm okay
stones
with this drop.
without having to play a run. Intern come around for
Yeah,
Smitty.
your weight's all there.
Okay, you're all there. I mean, your line's good. I mean,
Yeah. You're all
where's
there.
it at?
You're all there. Back 8.
Okay,
This
well,
is starting to turn right now.
Back 8.
line's fine.
Gonna
Close
get
the
a
line.
little tight on line.
Well,
Don't
line's
want to
good.
be too
Just do
heavy
it.
here.
Ooh, boy.
Sneaks into a good
that,
spot.
that one
but-
might have been just, I think we're by and I'm going to cross my fingers.
And hope.
Wow. I mean, watching it from here, we were saying it was getting a little
Okay, just
dicey.
probably good. Like here at back 8. You can hit it
Crash
high,
there, and
you
they'd
can
be
hit
looking at a
almost-
steal,
wanna hit it high.
most likely for sure.
Maybe a little more than edge 8, middle 8. Ah,
Well, great shot, as
yeah,
it
that's
is.
good. Actually,
Good
back
logic
might be
there
better just
from
'cause we're gonna roll away
Smith
now.
talking
We're
with
gonna- You know what I mean?
teammate Kim Rhyme about giving up a steal right now is not a terrible thing.
Yeah, I do.
3 ends to play, down by 1, and still having your power play coming.
I like that. Yeah. Back line.
And this shot's by no means a gimme.
It's anywhere on the outside of it.
It's a fairly thin angle,
Like
I think,
perfect
to
as
get it
half.
in the ideal place.
Yep.
Clare Moores with their final stone of the 5th end. Outturn chip.
Pretty good. A little down.
Whoa, easy on it.
Hack.
It's one where you just
Back
got to make
line.
sure the weight's there
Back
because you
line.
can always sweep to catch it thin enough.
Careful.
And this should curl now.
Clean. Straight.
Easy on the curl.
Straight. Straight. Roll.
Really good.
Good shot.
Great shot.
Nicely done. It does look like there's some space for Rhyme to make the in-off.
I think it's straight here. It's really straight.
Maybe take a look from the overhead and see how many this would be for.
Here.
There we are. Yeah, this is there for 2.
For sure.
Just need to move that rock half a foot.
Yeah, like here.
There's plenty of air to get in there, Nate. You don't have to throw it really hard to make
I was
it.
gonna say they're lining it up with some hard weight, but speaking from experience this morning, John Schuster made 2 or 3 of these against myself with anywhere from 10 to 11.5.
Sure. Yeah.
Rocks and houses are plenty lively.
Yeah, you can make it with a few different weights here. If you could throw peel and hit it thick and go sideways and make it. You could throw control, catch it thin, and make it.
Yeah. Okay.
With how close together they are, it's really just making sure you're on the inside with whatever weight you throw.
Right, and this ice does seem to be a lot straighter with that higher weight, so we'll see what she comes with.
Big shot for Kim Rhyme. She is throwing peel.
Ooh. Yep, hard.
Takes an early turn.
Hard.
And wrecks the guard. So it does end up being a steal of 1.
Good.
Moores and Wheeler take a 4-3 lead into the 6th end of play.
Good try.
Threw it pretty well. I think so. I think I was probably like a touch tighter than I should have been, but I think it did good.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Look at the action on the other sheets. Sheet B, TC and Dropkin leading 4-2 over Persinger and Casper. Sheet D, Farrell and Thurston with a commanding 6-1 lead over Wood and Cott. And Schweitzer and Hagberg 5-1 over Nickel on Sheet E. Barn burner of a feature matchup here on C with 4-3 lead now.
I wanted to go real hard.
Claire Moores and Lance Wheeler.
It's a little tight. I was like,
Power
here we go.
play being used by Kim Rhyme and Jason Smith here in the 6th.
No,
Now we're close.
This all-important first shot, Nate. Trying to chip that corner guard into the rings.
Even more so than the traditional mixed doubles ends, this sets the tone for how the power play will go.
This one ran straight with the sweep.
Got to be careful not to remove the yellow.
Yeah.
That's Jason's top speed there, too.
It's annoying.
A few different strategies here. Rhyme Smith opting to split the house.
it's not quite lined up. It's got
Yeah, I'm always partial to going under the guard on this situation just because your opponent's out is still there with that freeze. And you're thinking they don't want to pile the rocks up, but if you go wide, then your opponent's almost assuredly playing the freeze underneath, and if they make it, again, same situation where it's going to take a couple of shots to move it.
Right, exactly, and it's so low risk. You go for the freeze and chip open or miss it some other way, the opponent still can't hit. And going under just brings the 3 and 4s into play.
You see the clocks there, 8.5 minutes remaining for Smith and Rhyme. Not low, but a little slower pace than what they had, and 10:55 for Moores and Wheeler with 3 ends to play. A world of time for them.
Full end ahead of schedule. Heard 14-8 there from Clare.
That's
Same kind of speed towards the middle.
nicely done there by Kim. Good draw, even up on the opposite side. She's played very well. I'm sure she wants that last one back in the 5th, but did make that key double early in the game for the 2 to get them in front.
Going open side as well. They're well placed by Kim, a little farther inside the 8-foot than the placed zone. So if this freeze by Lance is made, there's still some room to sit 2 frozen under the guard.
To it.
Running.
To it.
Close.
Weight's really good.
Nice,
It's
nice.
going to bounce a bit.
Key shot here.
Straight, straight. Yep, straight. Yep,
Steely
straight,
gaze
yep,
from
straight,
coach.
Yep. Really good.
Rocking the heated vest on the away end as he's coaching the Yellow Rocks this game. Heard from many coaches that the away side's much colder out there on the ice than the home end.
Well,
So
second.
coaches are being partial to the Red Rocks this week.
It's definitely second.
Great shot there by Lance Wheeler, too. That stone essentially dead now
So
underneath
first
the
it's
corner
your
guard, but the rock placement by Kim Rhymes so important that they're still sitting shot.
He was probably
If you're going to split the house, you want the rocky throw to be number 1 for this exact reason. Jason Smith now trying to follow close to that line.
Where?
You got to
you're
figure they're set up
2-9.
pretty well for a 2 as long as you execute simple
Got
shots
plenty of
the rest
room,
of the
so-
way.
Just tee.
This is, by our count, I think their 3rd traditional curling end and
Plenty
6
of room,
mixed doubles ones.
Plenty of room, just tee.
Doesn't need to be corner frozen as long as it's shot.
Good. Sorry. It's good.
That rub makes it interesting as well.
Do that once or twice more and you might be sitting 3.
That's fine. Though.
Some new strategies we're learning continually from Ryan Smith this game.
Yeah.
Too, so.
I'm not totally convinced that. Yeah, red does look to be shot. It's not 100%, but.
Jason whispering, keeping his strategy top secret from the opposition.
I've heard mumbling and I've heard hushed voices. Whispers that's taken it to the extreme. I don't know if he doesn't want us to hear too. We can't stop you, Smitty, so it's all right if we hear what you're saying.
Weight's good.
If only they could hear us.
Curl a little bit. Curl.
Live commentator feed on the ice.
Hey, you'd like this one to stay behind that yellow stone. Don't want to sweep it any further now, Kim.
Okay. Sorry.
No, that's fine.
There you go. Now that plays
Thanks,
into a
I guess
jam
better
too. Never know if
Rather
it
than
can come
nosing,
into
give me an
play.
easy double.
9-8 on that one.
Here we go. Jason is going to try that baby rub again.
Just touch it again and maybe you're sitting 3.
Kind of rolled into a shitty spot, but
Such a key game for Moores and Wheeler with the 1 and 2 start to try to get back to 2 and 2. Ryman Smith have had a couple tight games, but finding a way to win.
Okay, I think you're
Big steal
about
in
the
their
same.
game last
Maybe
night
a
for the
touch
victory.
more.
Easy then, easy. Gotta curl.
Maybe a touch less, actually.
Just tee. Okay, line's getting good.
This is curling
Curl.
pretty hard now.
Straight.
I don't know that you need it to curl.
Straight.
This is really
Whoa.
close.
Okay.
Moved them both.
Shoot.
Still just red, but ever closer.
But you did separate them a little bit,
Left
so
the
now
door
you can
open.
play that shot
Wait,
again
wait,
and make it a little
Maybe like
easier.
9-5?
yeah.
But be careful. If you do that 14 or 15 more times, your rock's not going to be in the house anymore.
Run out of room under the corner, too.
So open hit now for Lance Wheeler. Not sure who'd be shot rock if they roll towards the corner guard, which could get a little interesting too. If they do roll across the house towards the other yellow stone, it'd be to set up a double on their last shot if they get the opportunity.
I mentioned giving up 2s and doubles in general isn't the worst outcome, especially facing the opponent's power play. That 2 isn't so bad, having your own still in their back pocket.
Lance is throwing this a little firm to try to get a flat roll.
Yep. Little roll. Easy.
Oh, needs to sit now. Look at that shot.
Well done.
Fantastic. What a great shot from Lance Wheeler. What a call by Claire Morse.
Play this.
Rolls to half buried shot rock.
Okay, just kind of come down and touch this one, right?
Yeah.
Just kind of touch
Just
it
right,
over
roll
here.
as
They
far
try
as
to
That
play
is
like a
really
double,
good.
right?
Yeah.
You make that roll maybe
Top
1 out of
Yeah.
10. That's generous.
So you're just playing
Shot
like,
half buried.
I'm almost playing maybe a couple feet more. I don't need to move it much.
yeah. Do you want broom?
No, come sweep.
Okay.
Well, sometimes the ones that look kind of simple, you don't think of them as the shot of the day, but that's so tough to do what they just did.
Placed
I mean,
so
even if I
perfectly.
tap
Any
ours,
further, and that
yeah,
yellow's
sit
still
on top of
shot, and Jason's
Yep.
just drawn.
And you're
open
drawing the
side.
other way,
The
yeah.
one is real good.
Okay.
I just can't tap ours too far. It's got to
Yeah.
make sure we're.
I think if they end
This
up
does curl here.
escaping this end and
'Cause I
somehow
probably
winning
was
this game,
closer,
that's the
like,
one you look back
edge
to.
This
of
is
button,
closer
or I
in,
mean
so if I
edge of
just give-
4, and mine curled all the way over there.
Okay, so you want me to be outside left hand?
But Smith can
Yep.
just chip this stone with a heavy draw and sit 2. See if he can answer. In turn, heavy
Okay,
draw.
Your weight's a touch heavy. You're like back 12.
Okay, that's
It's
okay,
not
let
going
it
to
curl.
start to turn till it gets across the center line.
Close. That's
Close,
going
yeah.
down.
Now it should go. There it goes.
Yeah! Hard! Hard! Go off
Wreck
it,
on the
go!
yellow, you want to bounce in front of it. Oh, ends up with a pocket, so now they can double these off too.
And all of a
hit
sudden,
it
blink of an eye, and red might be
You
sitting
can either
3
one
here.
first.
I
What
think
turn do
I
you like?
broom for this one.
Such a
What turn
turn
do
of
you like?
events with that roll by Wheeler.
What do you see? This?
I think you play like this with 9, and if you just click an inch of it, even if you over curl and
The dangerous thing for Lance is they get on a winning streak after this, and they make the playoffs. He's already got 2 in the swear jar. He adds a couple playoff
More-
games on.
More games.
You play yourself into contention, that's all well and good, but that's a lot of danger.
More time on the mic.
That's right, yeah. It's you win more games, play more games. So Moores with a key shot. Final throw of this end. Trying to double these yellow stones off.
clean.
Catch the higher one first.
Yep.
Right in the pocket should be good enough.
Whoa. Real good. Clean. Clean.
You always like hearing clean.
Clean. Really good throw. Really good throw.
Whoa.
Freeze in there.
That only ends up
Good throw.
sitting 2 after
I thought
that.
it was gonna stick in there. It,
pinball
like, went
action,
with the
but-
yellow. That was weird.
Yeah. Magnets.
Good throw.
Still is just a shot for 1 regardless, but would have been nice for them to have it be against 3.
Added pressure.
I got to pay close attention on those angles and make sure you got to hit one of them first. Like you hit those at the exact same time. That's what tends to happen is it follows through. And with that shot, with the shorter distance as the higher rock needed to go, it's really just make sure you're hitting one of them thick enough
Does it turn?
that it doesn't just
Yeah. That's good.
wiggle its way through like it did. As it is, draw to the 8-foot, touch 4 somewhere in there.
Weight's still okay though.
Okay, mine's fine. Whoa.
Final stone of the 6 for Kim Rhyme.
Big turning point here.
Full 8.
We'll lose a little bit of speed once it gets across the center line again. So for Smitty, just want to make sure that you're on it. You see it losing that speed now.
Team 3 a little slower than we've seen, but
Yeah, that was just playing a path that you're going to lose speed crossing center, and I think they underestimated how much that would dig. So that does end up being a steal,
No?
and a big one
Yeah.
for Team Moores and Wheeler, now leading 5-3, going to the 7th end of play.
That curled all the way across over to here. That's why.
Twin Cities Orthopedics is ready to go with more doctors, specialty services, and convenient urgent care locations. Ready, set, TCO.
I got you.
Forfeit.
Okay.
I just had to sweep it.
That's what I was like.
No, I'm not trying to throw to the back one. I'm trying to throw my draw, but
I got
I'm
you.
like, I'm not gonna give myself like edge of 12, or you know what I mean, middle 12.
Yep.
Added.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Mine's good. Yep, straight. Yep, straight.
Big swing
Nice
on
good,
those
nice
last
good.
final shots
We're to it.
of the sixth end.
To it.
Moores
Gotta
and
go
Wheeler
up.
with a steal, thwarting the
Gotta come
power
up.
play by
Overcooked
Ryman
a
Smith,
bit.
now leading
Close for
5-3,
No, it's good, it's good, it's good.
playing the
It's good, it's good.
seventh.
Straight.
Good.
And important to remember, too,
corner.
Nate, Clare and Lance still have their power play left,
Yeah, that's
regardless of what
huge.
happens in this
Probably
end.
gotta throw the
Stealing
outside.
on the power play is always big, but
Just try to be on that
certainly
side of it.
throws
Corner.
some plans of Ryman Smith haywire. With you heard Jason earlier mentioning keeping hammer and even ends. Had they even scored there to tie, Moores Wheeler would have been forced to use their power play here in seventh, and Ryman Smith would have had hammer coming home in 8, and now
Okay.
uphill battle to score a multiple here with hammer and then face the power play in 8.
Yep.
Oh, that rock looked like it picked, maybe.
Few
Taking
across
off
center on
early.
the early draws for this team today. It's always on that same side of the sheet, too.
Okay.
Picked.
Did it? I had to have, because that time was way higher than that, yeah.
Yeah, they picked.
And he
Now,
didn't
that was
give me
not
the-
on the
oh,
throw.
good
That
pick.
one went sideways. A sudden turn. Yeah, they're right in their wheelhouse now. So Wheeler
Right
playing the
there.
out turn come around. Very important now to stack a second one under that corner. Keep your opponent chasing.
Just top 12.
Hard.
This is getting tight now, too.
Hard line, yep. Hard line, yep. All the way
Good
to
sweep
it.
by
All the
Wheeler
way.
to get
Hard.
by.
Great sweep. Getting
Hard.
by there
Far
was
as it goes, yep.
huge,
Far
opening
as
it
goes.
up.
Get second. Come on.
Would have let
Dig.
Ryman Smith off the hook a little bit.
Corner it. Who's second?
Yeah,
Who's second?
we are.
I'd be tempted to play soft through the port and try to bump that rock back and roll under
We're
the
second.
corner,
We're second? Okay.
or even just roll to open with those two behind the tee line. It is poking out just a little bit on the port side.
Yeah, let's corner it.
Okay.
Port as in where the port is, and is port left
I think so.
for the sailors?
The seafaring crowd.
Nautical term?
Need to ask one of the locals here on Lake
Somebody
Michigan.
in Traverse City should know that, yeah. Isn't
Mine's good.
port left and starboard right?
Believe
Mine's
you're
real
right.
good.
Went and saw the water this morning.
Got
A little
curl hair,
cold
got
with
curl
the
hair.
winter wind, but
Maybe
beautiful
somebody will
sightseeing.
text me and let me know, too.
I'm sure we'll hear if we're wrong.
I'm not looking it up. I'm busy. Somebody can tell me if they want.
Okay, sorry. My bad.
That ends up deep on that side.
They're running.
You know, maybe just a little gun shy with how many they've seen crank over there turn over. So really can put the pressure on now if you're Wheeler and Moores. Out turn come around for Lance.
Weight's good.
Okay, line's
Uh,
fine.
Top 4, top 8.
Room right now. Running.
Yeah, weight's T.
Running.
T line.
Are we
T.
here?
Yeah.
Are we here?
No, we're T.
Okay. Straight,
Yeah.
straight, straight, straight,
you're right,
straight.
Yeah, you don't want to chip it now. You want to just go by.
The wrong place to put that one.
Never swept and full back
Decent
four,
back,
so
I
a little
guess.
heavy from Lance. Before he threw, he said anywhere short was preferable.
Watch out.
Then you have to peel
Still
something.
not a lot of scoring space, though, for Ryman Smith.
Maybe that one
Not
time,
easy.
but you got to make it here or we're.
Yeah. Yeah.
You do need to play that draw, I think, because it's just too risky to try to run. Although if you clear it open,
Earlier in the
probably
game, this is the decision rock, and in an earlier end, you might see the run to Jason's point. You kind of got to make this one, or you're
I think it'll give me the
out of
same,
rocks.
I
You
just
don't have
won't
enough
sweep
rocks
it.
left to open it up and
I
leave
think that
yourself a
line
chance to
was-
score.
Yeah,
So
yeah, good
a little
weight.
bit all or nothing, but this point in the game, down 2, I think you're right that this is the play.
Okay, I think it's a touch more.
Smitty playing this out-turn draw.
Weight's okay.
Just to it.
Line
Line's
only.
good.
Weight's okay. Weight's to it.
Line's good.
To it.
Got
Still
curl
plenty
there.
of weight.
I can't.
Coming in hot again.
Okay.
Yeah, this could be the killer now for Moores and Wheeler with the way these rocks are set up and that center guard. You're going to need dynamite to get that rock out of there. Only 2 shots remaining for Ryman Smith after this. It's looking very steelish right now if this rock is placed where they want it to be.
Everything you could want. A pocket, the guards.
Already
Lock
sitting
in
one.
there.
Wes.
Mine's fine.
And Kim's rock, she threw first this end. The
Mine's
pick
really
is
good,
in the
Lance.
intern drop
Yeah,
path,
go.
so really only one side of the sheet to work
That's
with.
good.
Okay.
Yeah, this looks really
Close
good
for
too.
curl. 15-2.
Just needs to
curl.
finish up a little bit.
Curl. Curl, curl, curl. Yep.
That's really good by Wheeler.
15-2
Perfect.
right to T-line. Well
Perfectly done.
15-2.
Keep doing that.
Should we have been a little bit more on the nose on that one?
I don't know. What?
Should we have been a little bit more
I was
on the
looking at,
Oh, that's perfect.
well, first we see Quentin Way thrilled with that shot by Lance Wheeler, obviously.
That's tough.
Yeah, I think we just got
He's got his own heated vest on out there, so maybe the home end isn't as warm as I've been hearing.
Because it's got to be, we got to touch this one kind of thick so it kind of goes up that way.
Okay.
So it's. Yeah, about half.
Quentin, great friends with Clare and Lance,
Just
and
put it on the
roommates
edge.
once upon a time as well.
Feel like a touch more?
So see what kind of action Smitty can get on this now, trying to get all these reds moving. Kicking off of that yellow will actually help it. So you could see all 3 reds, looking at this closer. Could see all 3 of these reds moving.
If you want anyone in the hack, throwing it.
Well, the weight's there. Will it get by the guard? Oh,
Well
look
done.
at that.
Going up and out
Gives him a
above
chance.
the T-line. I think Kim was going to sweep that and realized it was going away from the T-line on the
so,
side
yeah.
she couldn't sweep.
But they're not going to have anything if you're sitting top 8.
I just now noticed, too,
I
with
played
their jerseys.
Same line I did.
Okay.
Listen
You're
first.
just sitting like,
Yeah.
just bite the
Well,
floor.
I need more in line than that if that's where you want to land.
The cursive
I mean, I
bowling
think-
shirt
We
style
can walk
first
and drop
names
at
Yeah.
and sit 3, right?
on the
Okay,
chest.
like a
Sitting
couple
here.
inches outside the 8
That takes me
Okay.
back to late 90s, early 2000s.
So it's okay.
Yeah,
with
well
our
designed.
juniors stuff. That's great. I love that. Now I like those kits even more.
Their primary jerseys are
Shorts, 2,
plenty good
3.
looking as well.
They don't top
Mine's
these,
good.
though.
3.
Okay, room down, fresh path.
Out-turn draw for Claire, as it says on her jacket.
Can't
Claire.
get them mixed up that way.
Yep, yep, straight, yep, straight.
Lance trying to carry this one. Love to get it at least to even with that stone.
Not the best, not the worst.
No, it's fine.
We'll leave a draw, but just for a single.
Real good.
Once again, against 2
Everyone agreed.
counters.
Heavy, that's great.
Yep.
Good thing I hear more ice, I guess, but
Well, I think it's one of those top.
Out wide, a little bit of a new path for Kim.
What are you seeing for Broom out here?
Close to middle.
Needs to walk this down sideways from out wide on the sheet.
Can I give you the same?
Yeah, you got
out here, I think you're looking for like a 15 point.
Same split times they've been using for most of the game.
Very important final stone here in the 7th. Kim Rhyme, out-turn draw. Little different path than what we've seen, having to go out this wide to the side of the forefoot.
No line. No line. Line's getting better.
Line's close. Starting to curl. Looks like it needs to dig.
Whoa.
A little tight to the top one now, too.
Yep. Sorry.
Will it spin in? Ooh, there was a little spin at the end. Was it enough?
No, I don't think so.
Bad call.
It still does look red. Smitty's taking a little closer look, but they are counting it as one red, so steal of one again. Moores and Wheeler take a 6-3 lead to the 8th end of play. With the break before the final end, USA Curling would like to take the moment to thank the curling community for supporting the sport and the national organization, whether it's through your membership, donations, or volunteer hours that help our game grow. Your support makes many of our efforts possible, whether it's the webcast coverage you're enjoying right now, the Our House content platform, certification programs for instructors and officials, or the Athlete Outreach Initiative. On behalf of USA Curling, thank you for all that you do.
I thought it was heavy. So
Our other games for this draw, which were there a second ago. On sheet B, TC and Dropkin with the 8-2 victory over Persinger and Casper to stay undefeated. The world champs roll on. Sheet D, Farrell and Thurston, a convincing 9-3 win over Wood and Cott. And sheet E, another victory for Schweitzer and Hagberg, 5-3 over Nickel and Nickel.
Including last year. I think that makes 13 straight for the world champs in the States here, and I'm trying to remember if any of those were even particularly in doubt at any point.
Should be all there.
Dominant run for those two.
I know the playoff games weren't. They were dominant through those.
Weight's good. Weight's good.
Line's good.
We were lucky or unlucky enough, I guess, to play them last year, and I believe we made it through 6 ends.
Yep, straight.
Should be right to it.
Line's good.
So a 6-3 lead for Moores and Wheeler after that second straight steal. Rhyme and Smith are going to need to get at least 3 with the hammer in this final end. Very important freeze made by Clare Moores to start this end.
Certainly an uphill battle for Rhyme Smith at this point, but Clare and Lance will not be able to use their power play this game. Good news and bad news. Good news meaning they stole a couple ends in a row to put some pressure on, but we'll go without their power play here.
This one's overcurling.
No, I'm going to admit I don't know this, Nate, and I'm going to need you to tell me. Say Rhyme and Smith get 3 in this end. Are they able to use the power play in the extra?
They are not. It has to be used in the course of regular play, not in an extra end.
That's an important thing to note. With 3 certainly not out of the question in mixed doubles, they would not be able to use that power play. So I think you should just be able to bank them for the entire tournament. You get to the finals
Get
and
multiple.
You can, use 4 at least.
Another over curl on Kim's first.
Yeah, they're a little staggered. Would like to, if you're going to bump them, move them over enough that you get, again, that 2 corners that we talked about earlier.
Room.
And they've actually been at their best in this game when
Right.
things have pulled away from the center a little bit, too.
Top 8.
Room.
What makes it tricky, especially on one of those first couple rocks, is your opponent can't hit yet
Just top
if
12.
you do tick things around or bring things under the wing.
15-8. Yep, straight. Touch the 12 foot if you can. Yep.
And the more usable stones are the tighter ones, and those are your opponent's stones.
All right. Kind of
Both those draw paths are kind of blocked off now.
No, like that's better than.
I think you may need to almost play a tap on that center guard.
They blast, we blast.
Yeah, thanks, Smitty.
There you go, on the same page.
Yeah.
I love that call.
That's so tricky,
be like
needing
back-
a 3, only 4 rocks
Back
left
8,
to
back
throw.
12.
Can't exactly
Okay,
clear out
back
anything in the
12.
front or
Okay.
lose a shooter. Need every one to count at this point.
Oh, well thought out by Jason, knowing that they need to move that stone. So if you're going to do it, you might as well play a bump and try to get it on the paint as opposed to just playing the peel and clearing out, because you got to score 3. So intern tap. Difficult shot for Jason.
Yep.
Pro side is,
Yep.
even if it does wreck on one of the other reds,
Yep.
it's a tight guard for you
Whoa,
at least.
whoa. Yep.
Needs to
Whoa,
curl a little
whoa,
bit.
whoa.
Very close.
And it just hangs a little bit, but now it's a Yellowstone at least there.
Okay.
Sure.
What else do we do?
We also have
I know.
a ton of time.
Plenty of time on the clock for Wheeler and Moore still. They will use their timeout. No reason
gear.
not to.
Get some expertise from Quentin off the bench there.
Yeah, I think right now
Brian, their second coach, in the background as
they're probably
well.
running that yellow. We can just guard the yellow. Wait, us running yellows? Or what do you mean? Oh, I'm thinking we guard their run. Just
Like drawing
play this.
here?
I just don't want to give them like a big catcher's mitt for their run, you know? It's hard to get it over there and like we pull up the guard, they're probably double running or whatever, right? But
If we do
Assistant
that,
coach Jason Smith
we'll
over
have a
there with
tap. We're in the back of
Quentin
the
Way.
house, though.
Giving his input.
no, I think we just dead cut the yellow.
Never
I mean,
shy
I guess they
about
get through
that.
The hole now, so you're probably half covering. You're right. Split center. Split center is
Tap's
pretty good.
still there.
The tap, if you split center, they can't tap to the button though.
Okay, do you like that? Or is it better to get another one in there?
Two of the more fun, friendlier teams out there. Friends with everybody, all 4 of these players.
But they can make this.
It was an NBA game the other night
got
where it's been a while, but
3 rocks
one of the
left, I gotta
players
score
from the
3,
opposing
you got one
team
in the
stood
back.
in the huddle
That's probably never staying.
and they
can guard
shoved
real
him
good.
away like he was doing it playfully, but it wasn't near as fun as this situation.
Not many sports where the opposing team can butt in on your timeout as a joke
still
and
like
have it
guarding.
Okay.
be fun.
And Lance made a very good point there when they were talking through that. You saw Quentin talk
I mean-
about playing the intern
that's true. That
draw
makes sense.
around the outside. And Lance said, we don't want to leave a big catcher's mitt. Now, what he means is if you're looking at this from the overhead, that intern
a-
draw
a
that would come out
room more
wide,
than drop
if
pass.
that sits at an angle where you could run the yellow
I think you-
in, you could use the other red as a stopper. So it
Yeah,
actually would
Bryn
help
Moore's Probably too much.
Smith and Rhyme
Yeah,
if they're trying to make that back rock count possibly.
Runner.
So that's a really good call by Lance. They can't do anything to make that yellow rock count right now. But if there was another one on the side of the 4-foot that you could run to a pocket, that's what gets you in danger.
Your runbacks are already high difficulty shots. Don't need to do anything to make it easier.
To 2, I think.
Mine's fine.
2.
So just throwing the guard, which is the safest shot.
Gonna be high. 2.
Running a bit.
It's hard to
What?
help your
Running a
opponent
bit.
with a guard.
Mine's fine.
The only way it
Whoa.
hurts you
Hold or not.
Weight's good.
is if they do find a way to get
sit.
3 behind
Sit.
the guard you're throwing, which this
No,
is
runner's still there.
over-curling.
What even happened? Just grab some fresh
Did
stuff?
overcurl, but they were kind of trying to take away 2 shots.
Yeah,
They
tap
thought
it,
that
separate
port
those.
between the red and the yellow tight to the house was there, so that's gone now.
Back line.
Getting a little dangerous now. If Jason can make this tap it across the face of that red and roll it under the guards,
Unlock that back one.
yeah, you open it up too. You could also nose tap, leave your own there,
What did I just have there for weight?
and that bonus would be to unlock that yellow stone in the back, but keep it in the house. So that's why Jason's playing this soft, the out turn.
Okay, I think you're hack. Board.
Easy, easy, easy. Easy,
Board.
easy. Getting close.
That needs
Whoa.
to get up just a little bit.
Yep.
Very close now. Oh, actually over curls.
Okay, good.
Oh, locked that red one even more.
I think it was a little bit softer than what Jason thought.
Kind of an unfortunate result for being so close to made.
Okay. Does not help them right now. That red's going nowhere.
Yeah. So let's try
Yeah,
to
that
get
actually
I think
hurts
let's-
being
yeah,
where
I
it
think we just
is.
play the same guard. Let's play the
try
same
to
guard.
get there. High
But
spot.
now that tap is their only way to score 3
I'm gonna
because
give
you
a
have to
middle
unlock
of
that
12
stone.
Okay with that?
Yep.
And there's no angle to do it with anything but that guard.
2 tough shots coming up, and both will have to be made for their 3.
So Wheeler playing the guard, trying to get a little out wider this time to
Four,
make sure it
four.
covers up that yellow
Four.
stone.
Mine's fine.
3, 4.
Close.
If it's 4, they're coming around that
Four.
guard.
Yep. Easy. Yep. Yep.
We get around that
Hard.
guard.
Hard. Hard.
Needs to get by first.
Come on. Ah.
Ooh, so that tap is still there. Now you're looking at close to nose.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, you need a little more, I think.
Getting around that guard would have taken away that same tap or run, but guarding it would have done the same and been, I think, a little easier to execute.
Yeah, just hair off nose, just on the nose of it. Tap bars to the back house.
Okay.
So at least hack weight here. You have to move that back yellow stone. And nose is real close.
Whoa. Whoa.
I don't think it's going to get there. Might get a redirect off the other guard. Well, not quite. Tough to see the 3 now. It's that red rock really has nowhere to go. I think you can throw this away if you're
Yep.
Moores and Wheeler, probably.
I don't see a shot anywhere, so we can plug that. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, like you've been
see
saying,
my
that red
side
rock's
did.
2 rocks away from being
I always
moved,
try to
and
do that.
only
Try to
one
be
left
positive there,
for
it still came
Kim
back.
and Jason.
Get it as a worse.
Oh, it's way worse.
Really?
Oh my god.
Oh god. All right, let's go.
We'll leave you be on that one, Lance.
Same spot as me.
Not sure if they need to accomplish anything with this shot, but just throwing the guard on that port
2. Really solid. I'm gonna keep it out there, I think.
shouldn't be anything
Mine's good.
they can do with that red stone.
Running a bit. Line's good.
Just a 1.5.
Curl.
Should finish nice.
Curl. Curl. Curl.
We're gonna over curl, Claire.
I think you're all right.
Unless Bill has any tricks up his sleeve, it's looking pretty tough for yellow at this point.
Do we have anything? We'd have to play for a win, like draw through this hole to this one. In case we gotta play it again later. That's not even this one, so we have no way of winning anyway. Just kind of practice shot. In case you have it later.
I mean, we can.
I mean,
Yeah, there's just
Yeah.
nowhere for that red stone to go.
No, I don't think there's any.
Right.
We could throw it, yeah. I mean, I agree. I don't think there's any way to win. I think it's over.
I mean,
I'm not sure Bill even bothered to come down to join the discussion.
Well, he could just be
Yeah.
walking down because he knows they're done.
There are handshakes.
And that is a final. It'll be the X on the scoreboard. So 6-3 is the final. Moores and Wheeler over Ryman Smith. And Nate really got to go back to that role that Wheeler made in the 6th end against the power play for Smith and Rhyme. I mean, again, a shot you throw 10, you're lucky if you make it 1 to where he did. And that made all the difference in that end. Made Smith play a very delicate bump on the next shot instead of just trading open shots to at least get a 2.
Yeah, flip that whole end on its head. Rhyme Smith were trending by all appearances towards a multiple score. Ended up being a steal on the power play and never looked back from there.
And a huge win for Clare and Lance.
Game, Bill.
Getting the broadcaster bump. She comes in, gets the win afterwards. See if you can keep
There we
that going
go.
tonight.
Looking forward to it. We need to get off the schneid too, looking for our first win this week.
I want the record of players that come in to call games to be above 500 at the least this week. That'd be good.
There we go. We'll
It
see if
sets
we
a
can't
precedent for the future to make sure that we get people in here.
help. Line will get long, be a popular seat.
I don't know why it wouldn't be anyways, honestly. But, yeah, really well-played game both ways. Again, we saw some more traditional curling ends, too, which made things more interesting.
Good job, down there.
We do see that final, now 6-3.
Wow, Bill.
Tonight's matchup, feature game on Sheet C, will be the Hamilton siblings against Madison Bear and Aiden Oldenburg. Big matchup there. Both teams need a win. We'll be back here tonight
Close enough.
for that matchup and one final look at the other scores.
I missed it again. Sorry.
TC and Dropkin,
Keep talking.
8-2
What'd you say?
convincing victory over Persinger and Casper. Farrell and Thurston, 9-3 over Wood and Cott. Schweitzer and Hagberg,
Yeah,
5-4 over Nickel and Nickel. And our feature game again, Claire Moores and Lance Wheeler, the 6-3 victory over Kim Rhyme and Jason Smith. With Nate Perry, this is Tyler George signing off for our 2 p.m. matchup. We'll be back at 7 Eastern tonight, and we will see you then.